Welcome back to the North American LCS, everybody, and TPing to the analyst desk for our final two games. None other than Josh and Jatt Leisman.
Alrighty.
Is that your teleport animation?
I guess I'm here now.
Yes, you've had your visual update, and now you've had animations when teleports happen. It's great. Now, of course, we want to check in with what you've been saying over on Twitter. Earlier, we asked you to tell us which pro in the North American LCS is the biggest playmaker and why. And here's what a few of you guys are saying. At MiniFreak88 says, Afromu is the biggest playmaker. Do I even have to mention the cowball delivery system or those binds? Well, you just did.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. I thought we should maybe word the question, which player not named Afromu is the biggest playmaker in the NALCS? Because he makes so many plays, especially this split. It's really hard to argue with that choice. No matter what he decides to do, he's pretty much always making a big play.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal player. Next up, though, for Equestria, says Shifter has to be the biggest player in the LCS. He is such a consistent and explosive mid laner. You can never count him out.
He had a pentakill in his first game on Dignitas as well, 15-0. Yeah, we'll have to see how well he makes plays in this game. It's going to be a very interesting bounce-back game for him because he looked fairly far ahead of the game on Kassadin and then was not able to take over against CLG. And that's always a tough kind of loss to swallow when you're such a good roaming player like Shifter is as well.
So you're doing well, but it's like it's up to you to turn the game around, and you're just like, it's never happening. I agree. It's a tough situation to be in. Well, next up, Sepe Vo says definitely Crepo. Doesn't matter if he's playing his Leona, Thresh, or Morgana. He always hits the skill shots that matter.
Honestly, this is Crepo's split to shine. Yeah. He's got the new 80 carry Altec, who's doing very well. Last game that he had when they beat Cloud9, he made a lot of plays and great flays on his Thresh as well. So it's really his time. He's been around for so long as well.
Yeah, and think about it. He was on a team that was top 4 world championship and season 2, whatever. Like he's been up there playing the very best of the best, and it's like, okay, you're rebuilding this team now with a bunch of upstarts. Like most of these guys haven't gotten a lot of major exposure before, and it's like, here we go, right? Yep. Only up to go, and if you can lead that squad, it'll be a whole bunch of fun. We'll see if they can do it. Next up, God of Mischievous says Xiao Wei Xiao is the biggest playmaker because when he gets fed, he sets up the kills, and you can surely expect an LMQ win.
We just saw that game.
Yeah.
14-0 on Nidalee. Obviously, the kills don't mean everything. It was about how he took over every single lane of the map, getting the kills top lane, running through mid lane and killing Prawley, on his way to killing the bot lane. It was just a total whitewash. He did such a great job in that game on Nidalee.
Yeah, I agree. Xiao Wei Xiao's been really amazing. So, Jatt, I want to ask you then, our Twitter question of the day, which North American LCS player is the biggest playmaker and why?
I mean, can I say
hashtag LCS?
Can I say Afromu?
You can.
I mean, we've already said Afromu.
I thought you said the question was not named Afromu.
That is a...
Sorry, your Twitter question of the day.
That is a good point in that one. You're going to have to give me a second on that one, because Shifter was also said. We had good Twitter responses.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Now it's hard.
Yeah,
who's the sixth biggest playmaker?
How about in this next game?
Okay.
Who's the biggest playmaker?
My pick was actually going to be from this game, so you go first.
Come on, Freak. You're just stalling.
Yeah.
I feel like
mine is Pobelter.
It's Pobelter? I feel like Kiwi Kid is actually one of the biggest playmakers on Dignitas because he's much like Afromu in the fact that he makes a lot of big plays from support. He just has to get his consistency a little bit better.
Yeah. The double kill against CLG was... You could actually consider that might have been arguably lost in the game because Double has been able to put a couple of games on his back. He actually almost carried the game CLG played today as well. So, yeah, I agree with you on that one. To me, I like Pobelter because he's gotten so much better this season. Like, he came in and he was like, okay, he's good. Like, they picked him up for a reason, but he was getting outclassed. Like,
I mean, that's one of the big things about graduating from high school, too, right? He finally has the time to play because he concentrated really strongly on high school, and he did a great job while balancing his league career. And he's been the prodigy for 3 years now. When's he going to have full time for League of Legends? Well,
now he's the master.
Yeah.
Now we're going to see that keep growing. I think EG is probably the highest ceiling as well, to go back to the earlier question. We're going to see if it happens. Now, if you're not already, you can follow us on Twitter. We are at LOL Esports, and use the hashtag LCS no matter what you're tweeting. Doesn't even matter what it's about. Now, as we prepare to send it over to Riv and Kobe for our next game, Evil Geniuses say, in preparing to face the new and improved Dignitas, it's been hard to find an Achilles heel.
When you're preparing against a team like Dignitas, it is not that easy, especially with the roster swaps. There's like so many different factors. They're no longer the team that they were. I think their top laners are a lot stronger in Zion, and I also think their mid laners are a lot stronger individually.
I think EG is still looking very shaky, and they have a lot to work on. I think Pobelter is a good mid laner, Altec's a solid AD, but They're kind of like diamonds in the rough. They need like someone to guide them in the right direction.
The one thing we need to change is probably have a more decisive shot calling.
At the start, generally we have Snoopy making the calls, and then later in the game we transition into Mitch making catches.
The thing I like about Inox is he's not afraid to think out of the box and play champions that other people won't. Like, everyone's like, hey, let's play Shyvana, let's play Renekton, let's play Jack, let's play some tanks. But Inox is like, no, I'm gonna play Kha'Zix. And he might not do the best on it, but I really respect the fact that he's trying. And I think he's a good player. He does well on meta picks. He does pretty well on off meta champions, but there's definitely still room to improve.
No, I will play Kha'Zix.
They're always like, he's good on this, but you know in their mind, they just want to take each other out wholeheartedly, right down to the ground. So we're on to our next game, Evil Geniuses versus Team Dignitas. In their last meeting, Dig took the win here, but you can't discount the surge of confidence that EG will be feeling here after taking down Cloud9 yesterday.
Yeah, and Jat was also just mentioning, or Freak was mentioning Pobel
Right.
here. He's been a very bright spot for Evil Geniuses. But yesterday, we saw Altec as well, showing up very big. EG built a comp around Twitch, and they protected him well, they peeled for him really well, and they picked team fights with Altec's positioning in mind. They gave up an early dragon by choosing to go for that lane swap, but then, when it came back up, they made a good use of the terrain around Dragon to put Cloud9 in Twitch's line of damage. And Snoopy as well also deserves an honorable mention. He had a big impact as Evelyn. Even though Cloud9 bought so many pink wards early, he was still able to create pressure.
Right, while EG is riding high, Dignitas is coming off a hard-fought 40-minute loss to Counter Logic Gaming, if you remember. That cost them sole possession of first place.
Oh, I remember that game. That was a really fun game to watch. And Dignitas, they were strong in the lanes, but what's important to winning is taking down the structures. And those small trades that I talked about in the very opening of the show are where CLG got the lead in that game. You know, while Dignitas were taking down that uncontested Baron, CLG were outmaneuvering them and taking a lot of their base. There were also some moments of indecisiveness for Dig as they tried to react to those CLG pushes. In those split-second timings, they just weren't able to push fast enough. And, you know, Zion Spartan was positioned to take that mid, but he had a little trouble there with his kill, not fully powered up. And it's those small differences in these late-game trades I was talking about. You have to take into account so many different metrics and make that call. As Hai is saying, the best way to practice that sort of stuff is pushing your limits in scrims so you know those small differences between taking out an inhibitor or just getting your team an entire Baron behind.
It's hard. You got to take everything out of those small instances. We're going to see what they take out of this game as we check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, it's Evil Geniuses. In the top lane is going to be Inox, Snoopy, Chapped Lips on jungle, Pobelter in mid, Altec at AD carry, and Crepo on support.
And on the red side, it's Dignitas. Up top is Zion Spartan. In the jungle, Crumbs. Mid is Shifter, AD carry Cutie Pie, and finishing off the team, Kiwi Kid as support.
A lot of cheers going out. Both teams kind of have a little bit of home turf here, obviously North America, but Dignitas with them on top get the fan vote right now, and it's going to be the cheers that come out. The players know it's there, so they try to make everything pretty if they can. We saw LMQ last game having a little bit of fun, and if Dignitas come out as strong as they usually do in this game, it's going to be hard for EG to come back. But that's when I'm looking at Altec. He has had amazing fights for Evil Geniuses coming in here. So we'll see if he can get either on that Corki or something that'll really put him back to the 7-1-4 score in that mid game.
Yeah, he really has shown up big for them in those team fights. But really, that's where Dignitas have been extremely strong with their new roster. Lane phase transitions very easily for them into these team fights around those dragons. So EG may have to go with another strategy against Dignitas, try and pull them apart and take advantage of them that way. Because Crumbs has been giving Dignitas so much vision that Dig just get to choose every fight that they want. If they see an advantageous scenario, it's very easy for them to converge on it and force that fight.
And Dignitas has definitely moved themselves into the mentality of once that call is made, it doesn't seem like they're second-guessing anything. The whole team's in that call, whether it goes wrong or whether it goes right. Everybody's in on it.
Yeah, Dignitas, even after their losses, they've been really, really confident. They feel very secure with their new lineup. And since their loss was just yesterday, a lot of teams do not dwell on those because they know they have another game coming up, and they just put all of their focus on what's ahead of them.
Quick mid laners being kicked out of there for Shifter, two right directed at him. They don't want to be dealing with the Ziggs. He's actually found himself on the ban list quite a bit today. They actually ban out the Kassadin themselves. The Shifter played that the other day.
Yeah, very strong mid lane focus from both teams. Most red side teams will ban out Kassadin, as we saw though in that famous game. CLG was comfortable with giving it up. They're pretty much the only team, and that's specifically because of Link. He feels fine playing against them. Dig though, not going to give that one away.
No.
And it will be that final Kale ban, so we don't get to see top lane Kale again. You can tell which teams have been scrimming against each other too coming into these weeks, because they'll use similar strategies, and the top lane Kale has been one that Dig has used as well, so they don't want to let them go through.
Maybe the Kazakhs? No, the Lulu gets banned out. They do ban out the Evelyn, something Snoopy used yesterday as well to help them get the victory. He's also been on the Kazakhs, but we see Enox getting himself to carry top laner right off the bat to put himself in a good position.
No surprise here, but just locking in a very strong champion like Jax does not mean game over. Oh no, we can't come back from this. There are very many options for the opponents when you first pick a Jax like this. Taking it so early, you can go with Renekton to bully him early. You can go with lane swaps and keep him down, trading things to keep down Jax farm, or you can just go with a team that will not have to split push against that Jax and can force something very easily.
Altec on the Twitch, definitely an impact AD carry for him to be playing. Snoopy picking up the Thresh for Crepo. You may all remember Crepo's flash miss hook yesterday, but after that, he flipped a different switch and was hitting every death sentence left and right.
Yeah, there was one misstep bid. He said that was lag, so the rest of the game,
of course,
I'll
lag.
believe it, because the rest of the game, he landed
that is true.
So many really, really good hooks for the team for the rest of the game.
Ping pong with the Pantheon.
And got them an extremely, extremely good advantage, which they were able to snowball into that game victory.
Kiwi Kid looking at the Zyra, does lock that in. Shifter wondering and locking in the Syndra.
I'm a really big fan of Syndra right now because the mid lane 1v1s have been increased in power, because that's really the only time you get these even matchups anymore. The side lanes are all wackadoodle. Everybody's in the jungle roaming around. Meanwhile, mid lane, they do get to have 1v1 time with each other. And Syndra is extremely strong in that 1v1 scenario. The only thing he has to worry about, as we've seen many mid laners get caught off guard by the 3-man gank mid after people leave the side lane. So you still have to watch out for that 3-man gank mid, but otherwise, a very strong pick.
Orianna, very interesting pickup. Definitely a skill matchup coming here that I would probably give to Shifter right in the beginning. Back, forth, left, right, looking for an AD carry to make it just right. It's going to be Kiwi Kid. He loves to cycle around on champions. Cutie Pie's like, give me this. Kiwi's like, what about this? How about this? You want to play AD Shyvana? How about it? Let's see what happens. Locking in the Shiv. They have the Lucian up top. I'm just playing. So they're going to give that over to Kiwi Kid. He gets him, and Cutie Pie rather, he gets himself his aggression in lane against the Twitch. So it should be good for them. And I'll be surprised if we get another lane matchup. I'd actually like it, because that was a pretty damn good game.
Yeah, they do lock in another tank, a dive buddy for Lee Sin. If they want to go 2 members diving towards that Twitch, it's actually fairly hard for a Lee Sin and a Shyvana to stick on a Twitch going through Thresh. And they also are going to have to be dodging Elise Cocoons and Orianna Shockwave on their way in. So it's going to be hard, but the Syndra is going to play a big part in setting this up. Very long-range stun from her.
Right.
And she's really good against Jax because she doesn't have to worry about his Counter-Strike at all, and she can front-load a lot of her damage into that Jax.
We'll see if that's how it plays out. It's always easier to say. As the team loads onto the Rift, it's time to tally the votes over at LOLesports.com, where Dignitas leads EG with 84%. Another 80% vote coming out, but keep sending your picks by tweeting either hashtag EGWin or DIGWin to LOL Esports.
Not only is the Dig team very confident, but the Dig fans extremely confident coming into this as well. EG, though, they're coming off a really big win, so high spirits all around for those guys.
Dignitas probably looking to get under their skin early. We said before, they're a team when they have confidence, they kind of allow themselves to play complacent. But that's the word they've been using the most this year in their interviews, is we don't want to get complacent. So we'll actually see if the motivation they're getting now keeps pushing them forward instead of kind of letting them lay back and say, yeah, we're near the top.
Yeah, and I think Crumbs is really driving that one home, too.
Yeah.
He's getting in the enemy jungle early. He's getting the vision down that they need to be able to make those counter moves. And all of the lanes are thriving because of it. because of it.
Yeah.
Now, really the only problems we've seen are those late game trades. If we get to that situation where they're even with EG, can they be outmaneuvered?
Interesting to see as well. Nidalee going all the way through this one after playing hard, so we won't see any spears coming in, unfortunately, but still
People
great
have had their fill of
gameplay.
spears.
Yes. Already enough as we're on to the Rift now. Game 3 on the second day, I should say, of week 3. 2.4 gold on each side. Quite even to start, Kobe. But there's a sweeper on the side of Snoopy. What do you think's going to happen?
Could go for it. Could signal an early invade.
He might clear a ward.
You can as well still sell, just go back and sell it after an invade.
Unheard of.
Probably we'll keep that though on Elise. Gank heavy jungler does like to have the freedom to know that she's not in enemy vision. It does open up possibilities for the invade though, and trying to steal away buffs.
Crepo actually starting Relic. Going to give a little more golden HP to Altec. We've seen both Threshes today start with the Ruby Crystal to get that early Sightstone out.
Yeah, very popular. And at the point that he does upgrade that to Sightstone is where he will be switching out for another sweeper as well. Very telling how early the teams switch over to sweepers. Ooh, looks like they might use this one now, yes. For the red invade.
Pays off.
They did not leave any defensive ward, though.
Very true. Cutie Pie, very like wards Dignitas has just placed to CLG's wards, except for that middle one.
Now, this is similar to the LMQ strategy, but like I said, they didn't leave around that defensive ward. So it makes this defense of a red, if they decide to go check that, much, much more dangerous. And it actually turns advantage against them because they have to face check. Even though it's your own bush, doesn't matter where the bush is. Never want to be going into it blind in a level 1 situation. So they completely avoid it. Look for that lane swap. And we will be seeing the buddy jungle system.
Yep. We've been talking a little bit how this kind of affects players like Meteos, who likes to get really heavy farm in the jungle. How's it going to affect Crumbs and Snoopy, who kind of are formulated on getting the lanes going more than getting themselves big, so almost works out.
Yeah, Crumbs has been really thriving in this with the new changes. The only thing is, it is going to keep that Jax down longer than EG would like. Jax versus Shyvana not as bad as the Jax versus Renekton, but he will be relegated to the jungle as well, so it's going to be a while before they see that scaling.
Yeah.
That's good for Dignitas. They want to be able to press the advantage with their Lee Sin jungle as early as possible.
Interesting that Dig wanted to put their duo top and not kind of want to go after. Well, I guess, yeah, they are looking with the Thresh. They don't want to pretty much get killed. But they have Dragon pressure now. Very interesting. Usually we see the blue team being the one to switch it up. We'll see if EG can do anything to that. Chat was saying, when is this going to kind of be thwarted? When are people going to move on this early Dragon?
Well, every team that goes for the lane swap is the Dragon is the price that you pay for this lane swap. So every team knows that they're giving away the first one. And it's been so common that the teams take this Dragon at around that 3-minute mark, 3:19, whatever. That
good call.
Even though they've given up this first Dragon, and yes, we always talk about Dignitas have the timer for the second Dragon, and they can easily chain these. It's so common now that every team giving up the Dragon should also know the timer, basically have that timer as well. And these teams that are giving up in the initial swap are often looking to counter the second Dragon to put a stop to that chain of events so that they actually don't get very behind in gold, because the first Dragon, not worth that much, but the problem really comes from the domino effect and when the rest of them come in. So they should know when it comes back up as well for Evil Geniuses.
All right, you can see only 400, 500 gold now, somewhat ticking on that gold clock. Just going to see that early Dragon, like you said, a little bit of help. We'll see where Shifter decides to push Pole Belter in, as everybody's still farming around. No pressure yet, really, to any of the lanes.
Yeah, as I talked about before, really the map is kind of switched, where top side becomes blue side when they do this kind of switch, and bottom side is red. Now that means EG did start their blue buff, so it will come up around the 7-minute mark, 7:10 or so.
Normal.
Now, but the question is, I really want to see one of these blue teams that is looking to stop the chain of dragons actually delay giving their second blue buff over to the mid laner, because blue buff lasts that 2.5 minutes without the mastery or 3 minutes with it. If you take it right when it spawns, it's not going to be available. It'll run out right when that another second dragon spawns. So if you delay giving your second blue buff over to your mid laner for a little bit, then you can actually save that second blue buff for the dragon fight, where it's really going to be crucial.
See, all and everything to be planned out here. It looks like Dignitas has a few planned. Nice hit.
What a hit.
Little sneaky shot there with the Sonic Wave. A laugh from Alltech. It looks like it's just going to be a little bit of lane soak up here in the top lane. So Crumb's not getting too much off the first initial buddy system visit. Looks like they will be back to the jungle for him.
Yeah, pretty much mirrored on both sides. Jungle attention down bottom for Snoopy. So much about the first ganks has been junglers guessing where the other one will gank and trying to play to the strengths of their team. Just everybody's going the safe route, going to their duo lane. Good job there by Shifter.
Forcing the flash. Crepo already 5 minutes into the game trying to make big impact plays and get this one going.
Yeah, talked about that 3-man gank. It's annoying, but we saw Shifter have a good counter to it, long range stun, and then it's only because Crepo does use his flash that they end up getting a summoner out of Shifter in the end. Didn't feel like trying to dodge that one. Just burns his flash and answer. If you're really confident, then you sidestep that hook because you know it's coming out right after the flash. But he really didn't want to take any chances at all there. And he's going to have wards now in the mid lane.
We'll see if he can keep himself safe. Shifter is that mid laner we know who is very good at not dying. Getting a lot of fantasy points for his team. We'll see if he can keep doing that here, because with Pole Belter's long range, it will be hard with his flash up and the ignite. That kill potential is there. Clear out from Kiwi Kid and make sure they get some good map coverage and lay out a few more wards as well, just for precaution.
And as the lanes sack out into the normal lanes, it's pretty even across the board. It's just that top laners comparatively to the rest of the map are a bit weaker. So they do have to worry a lot about jungle ganks. Those can easily sway that top lane. Mid-low.
Oh, Pole Belter getting hit. Didn't expect to be getting that much aggression after he blew Shifter's flash, but they turn it on immediately and blow Pole Belter's. That makes Shifter's lane much safer as well.
That long range stun really, really working out for Shifter so far. Very accurate with it. First thing that you do have to master when you want to play Syndra. Here's that second blue, though. They give it immediately over to Orianna, so it'll probably wear out just about the time. Oh, they don't even get to give it over to him. Woo! Crumbs. That's the other thing about going for your buffs on respawn. Everybody in the game knows
you're off the map.
What the timer is.
Yep.
So Crumbs right there preys on that knowledge, able to steal it away. And he's done this so many times. That's also how they got their win against Cloud9. Crumbs preyed on that 7-minute, giving second blue buff over to High. That time, though, he went for the kill on High, and he got it. This time around, he goes for the buff steal, because Pole Belter took the safer route around. Either way, though, very similar effect here. We'll see if he sticks around, because 2v2 looks spicy in the top lane.
Dignitas early 3 sweepers matched by EG here, as everybody's kind of taking this under their wing. We see the early sight stones quickly coming out for people, and then the sweepers to do it. And Dig is only just controlling more of the map here. Crumb stays to the top lane. Doesn't look like Inox is going to be having fun.
Such a dangerous dive because Snoopy was waiting in the bush, but they got Inox to 200 HP under his own turret already. Doesn't matter that Snoopy was there for the counter gank. They've already taken so much of his life away that there's nothing that EG can really salvage from this situation.
30 seconds on Dragon. Culling being used to drop the HP bars. A good sidestep by Crepo. Level 6 here for Cutie Pie. They're trying to get pressure here and possibly on this close objective.
That Ardent Blaze right into Culling is one of my favorite moves for Lucian that we've been seeing so much of lately.
Then you dash while you're culling too. It just feels so good.
Looks good too. See if they can actually handle this bottom lane though, because big BF sword for Cutie Pie.
Oh, great harass with the piercing lights.
Yeah, that's the BF sword damage. Even though Altec does have sustain with his Vamp Scepter, it's not enough. He doesn't even stick around for the Canyon, actually, for Crepo to give over. So that's a pretty big loss there for Evil Geniuses. And that right there, it just cut away, but it's a good bluff from Crepo. Whenever you're Thresh, you can play that game and just throw your lantern back at random times?
Just willy-nilly, huff it anywhere.
Exactly. Because you gain two things with that. Either your opponents back off because they respect it, or they get lax and they're like, oh, he just keeps on bluffing. But then when you actually come in with the gank,
You pull in Jack.
your enemies do not react, and you get a win there.
Dragon is very much alive right now and looking to be fought. Who's going to be the first one to step up to the plate, though? Dignitas has the ward coverage, but not as much as they would like. Crumbs with the sweep, and they don't have anything past the Dragon Pit, where Snoopy is kind of hovering right about now. Crumbs looking to get that pink ward down. See if he places it knowing they can't control it. No, he waits. He waits.
Yeah, he does have, as Crumbs pretty much always does, both kinds of wards in his inventory, plus sweeper already. 4 sweepers switched out right now for Dignitas.
Oh,
Shifter, though, goes to the
not enough spears on the ground. Good hit, though. The blue buff keeps him up and up in the lane, and he'll still be able to throw out the same amount of damage with the regular abilities. This is not looking good.
Short
Dragon's
hop.
Descent is there, but the HP is not.
Also extremely dangerous for him to dive that.
Yeah.
But that aggression means that they won't see a teleport in from Inox. Dignitas decide to start up the Dragon because Shifter just blew his combo, taking out all of Pobelter's HP, most of Pobelter's HP.
Oh.
Though, what in the...
That was a good call. What in the...
Yeah, so he gets locked up. Great job by Cutie Kid there, locking him up. But Snoopy a little bit too close to that Dragon. As we said, Shifter just blew his whole combo to take down most of Pobelter's life and forced him back to base. They take advantage of that situation, knowing that even though they didn't get the kill, he can't join Dragon. Good consecutive pickups there for Dignitas. And EG have not been able to stop that chain. We'll see if the third one they can make a stand, because they do have wards down there.
And everything else is ticking against EG around the map, too. We have to remember that last blue buff was stolen over to Crumbs, so there's still been lane control loss here and jungle control loss by Evil Geniuses. With 3K gold lead for Dig, they're not even wards above them, really, but they know they're safe. They see everybody on the map, according to the wards that Crumbs has been clearing and placing.
Yeah, and he needs to continue to do that.
Yep.
Invading the jungle here, he's getting more vision. He knows that this EG team, if they let up pressure, then it's going to be bad for them late game. They don't want to face that Jax and Twitch late game because there's so much CC to supplement those two carries on Evil Genius. Uh-oh, Snoopy, though, takes a big chunk.
Crumbs starting off with a Sonic Wave into Resonating Strike. He's going to wait it out.
See, Dignitas, they don't hesitate to use their ultimates for large chunks of damage. Even though they aren't getting these kills, they keep on taking EG so low that EG can't contest any of the objectives. So Dignitas right there, even though Crumbs no kill, again, another objective. They get control of top lane here. He can deny plenty of minion waves, and there's the blue respawn that you mentioned.
Once again, Cutie Pie getting the second turret of a game. He loves turrets, and he loves taking them down. You can hear Cutie Pie saying he just wants to crush his opponents harder. So far, the rest of the team allows him to do that. He's just under the highest CS of Pobelter right now, 110.
And very, very smart here by Dignitas. Since they were afforded that Dragon without having to use their teleport because of the play mid, he saves it, and he's able to use it to grab extra experience, which is the dream of every top laner right now, to be able to get 2 solo lanes worth of experience, getting top lane shoved into turret and then soaking up bottom. Zion is in a very good spot to keep down Inox for the mid game here.
And it kind of shows, as you were saying, Dig just dealing that amount of damage to push people out of lane. If you look at Inox, he's about 30 CS down, but he hasn't died yet because he's always getting out with that low amount of health, the non-kill pressure. Like, the kills are there, but Dig's just not worried about getting them. They're worried about winning the lanes.
And that is due to EG's game plan. They've been spending resources up top to keep Inox alive. Snoopy has been visiting up there pretty much every chance he gets. However, every time
he's also been visited.
Gets the jump on him.
He is just reading Snoopy like a book right now, and Snoopy, unfortunately, seems to be walking up on Crumbs and giving him the situations on the other hand as well. Kiwi Kid going deep, could be in trouble.
Yeah, he does have Inox on his tail here.
Boom. It's the counter-strike. That's the empowered slap. He flashes the pop-up. It's going to be a Grasping Roots just after, and there is no follow as the flash was already used from Inox.
Yeah, you can't flash all the way across the Zyra ulti there. Still gets knocked up. Does lose the summoner spell, so actually pretty big loss for Inox.
Cutie Pie for 3 turrets now. All the way across, coast to coast, from bottom to top. Cutie Pie drops the front line.
Yeah, very hard for EG. Dignitas doing the perfect thing here, keeping up that early aggression. They do not want to let this Iborinus team soak up any money, get them any free time to scale into late game at all. And those trades that we're talking about with Snoopy and Crumbs in the jungle, everybody always mentioned lane trades, and favorable lane trades is how you get the big advantage there in the 1v1 scenarios. But jungle trades are just as important because it keeps on sending Snoopy back to base, and it also means that Snoopy cannot venture into Dignitas territory to get vision. Look at the map. He has been countered every time he tries to cross this river. Crumbs is there. He drew the line in the water instead of the sand, and Crumbs says you are not allowed on this side of the map.
And they're focusing that top side of the jungle as well, putting enough wards down exactly as they did on Cloud9. Just the flip side.
Crumbs is face checking this time.
Kicks him away, kicks away the brunt of what the damage would be coming from. Keeps himself safe.
He's got backup there. He's very secure in these invades because at this point in the game, these strong early lanes from Dignitas have translated into full control. All outer turrets down. There's no perimeter defense for EG, and Dignitas continue the invades. A little bit slow on that one, though. Weren't able to come away with the buff steal.
It's like Dignitas is still playing right as rain here. Even coming off a loss, don't seem to be second guessing themselves in any situations. They kind of kept their composure so far throughout the game and have really put a foot down.
Yeah, there's no need to. At this point, 51 CS lead for Zion in the split push strategy. So him versus Inox, he is very, very okay in that situation. He can easily continue to keep that pressure up on top side of the map. So it frees up the entire bottom side for all these pink wards of Dig to start making their way into EG territory. EG, though, everybody congregating mid.
And everybody with a ward. Inox just laying his down to get eyes on Zion Spartan in the top lane. 4 sweepers out now for Dignitas to shut down those ward purchases for EG, but they are still remembering the little things, trying to keep themselves in the game. The vision game as well. Zion Spartan coming from the backside. A lot of pings coming in, as you can hear. Crepo could be going down here, just gets outside of his own box. And they get safety from the Dragon.
He also got the very important Exhaust Summoner spell down. One of the most important combat summoners for any team here. That's a very big win for Dig, even though they trade ult for ult there. Exhaust down for this next Dragon is a very, very good sign for them.
Oh, last shot not made. Cutie Pie looking to get his 4th turret of the game. He is a demolitionist coming into this one against Evil Geniuses. Dragon goes down. We'll see that in another 7. Pretty good plays coming in so far.
Yeah, they haven't been able to stop that
6.
chain. That domino,
23-30.
the domino dragons. It's really been a downfall. A lot of these teams that are they're taking late game teams and they're doing the lane swaps, and they just haven't been able to intervene at any of the early dragons.
Man, another blue as well going over. 184 to 158. Got to give credit to Pobelter for keeping himself up in CS and really staying alive this game. Only 1 death throughout this game. And a lot of, as we said, Dignitas pressuring and just constantly using ults to get the lanes won.
Full control here from Dig.
6K gold.
Maybe EG are going to fall into their old patterns of making desperate moves, because right now it's actually recommended. They really need to get some sort of pick on a Dignitas member that is by themselves. The weak one of the pack, the straggler. They need to get somebody out of position. Dig are really not giving them anything, though. Constantly keeping up the vision here. Double sight stone for them, as expected with Elisa in jungle.
We have seen the EG comebacks. We actually saw a deficit of 3K today when Cloud9 was able to win their game. It was just a few catches they needed to get that win in as well. We'll see if EG can do it. Crepo had a very hot game yesterday on Thresh. If he can start to hit in the hooks, like he said, those single catches, almost, they can start making some plays. They're a little split for this one. They got to watch themselves as well, though.
You see that? I mean, Dig just have so much vision. It's doubled up. He had a ward that was just killed by Crepo in the bush. However, he has one over the wall as well.
What?
Able to dodge the hook and get behind.
Wow,
Almost
gets the ball movement play in his favor. Zion Spartan to the back line already. Pobelter's the one to crowd control and change the fight here for EG, but he can't even get into the fray. Great
That
positioning.
was almost the YouTube highlight from Crumbs. Really close. But
That was
doesn't quite.
great dodge. Great mindset. trying to hit the hooks.
Burn out.
A big dragon to be hooking right there. Now remember, Dignitas has one shot on the turret in the bottom lane, so if they start going heavy and getting turrets down, they have even more to take, and it's going to be a big influx of control and gold, even more gold.
Yeah, and PewDiePie also has that sheen, so even if they're on... Ooh, Altec with the minigame win. Takes that big blue Wraith. PewDiePie, though, a Lucian with a BF plus sheen is extremely efficient at taking small pot shots at turrets. So even if they only get a small window during a shift or stun, he can take a large chunk out of that tower. They're spending a teleport and all members, basically, to try and kill PewDiePie here.
So PewDiePie, only 1 assist for the AD carry, but they want to get him off the map. He's been creating too much pressure in these solo lanes by himself.
Ooh, there's Zig and Zag, bro.
That's crap. Uh-oh, Crumb's on the backside. Crumb says sorry. He's not going to come into that one. They're going to be forced to actually make their way all the way out of this.
All right, so EG spend pretty much everything that they possibly have to kill PewDiePie. However, they are getting something out of this. They get a turret out of it. You know, mid lane was pushed from minions, so it was a good time to go for something like that. Can they get back and defend that top turret, though? Because Inox actually used his teleport for the gank. He doesn't have it now to use it in defense of the top lane.
We'll see how Dig can really set this one up. EG knows they have a little bit of ground that they can cover here with those deaths happening, or I should say that death, but they will not decide to push that. Not enough ward coverage coming in. Looks like Dignitas is going to head back out. They got the pink wards ready, and they're going to reclaim the map.
Yeah, and Dig are closing on some really, really strong power spikes here. They've got the 2-item Syndra already death cap completed, and then Lucian almost at that Trinity Force. Keep talking about PewDiePie. Once they have both those threats double items, that's pretty much curtains for Evil Geniuses. Already they're using this really, really strong tank Shyvana that they've been able to beat for a very early Baron.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's pretty scary coming out. Krepo's going to be taking a lot of shots. Calling is up, Calling is out, and he stops it with the grab. Flashes along, nobody in the lantern to safety, but Krepo puts himself in a good spot. The box, maybe not, but the team is going to be safe on the disengage. Good save from what could have been bad.
Yeah, EG all have to be real careful because that Syndra ulti is still up. If there are just 2 spheres on the ground, someone's dead. Everyone getting, if you get taken to half life, you have to back off immediately.
There's things that are good about living, but being low health means it's going to be even scarier to bring the team back into the fight. This could be a call that not many follow for EG. That's going to be the ultimate coming in onto Inox. He goes down with the spears. A double kill as Shifter just cues and places another one on the floor. That's going to be Baron coming in 22 minutes into the game for Dignitas on that call.
Syndra is one of the best champions for this division game around Baron. It's one of the reasons why the Chinese team really, really like to use Syndra for all of their late game Baron fights, because if she has Fog of War advantage, her stun is so long and her burst is so strong, all it takes is one little spear to knock you, and boom, he gets home.
And let's see that one more time. Look at the vision that EG doesn't have.
Dead. It was a good cocoon into hook, but it basically just cost him his death because, as I said, those guys were already chunked out. They're below half-life.
And we're seeing a different Dignitas, very calculated. When they know how much power they have or how much they can push after doing damage, they take just the right amount. And usually at the Baron, it would get scary, but there, they seem to clean things up.
Not only do they get that Baron, Dragon pops up right after. They still have complete control of the map, easily taken by Dig. Very, very strong early game played by them, and they're rolling it very well towards mid. See how they do play the siege, because, as we said, it's very easy for them, for PewDiePie specifically, to take large bites out of a turret in a very short period of time, minimizing his at-risk time under that turret. He only has to be in there for a second. Whoa! Altec is going so deep.
Very close. Altec hits onto PewDiePie. The calling goes out as answer. Looks like neither of them will get too much on. Just an 80 carry back and forth as they move up the lane. Dignitas trying to control the pressure on the map. And start moving up. Zion Spartan just having fun in the bottom lane. Nobody really knew about him. Inox will do what he can, counter-strike for a few more turret shots, but they got to be careful. We're going to have Crumbs possibly coming around or pushing the top lane. This is going to start to be that Dig 1-3-1 if they want it.
You can see who the real alpha is there. As soon as Zion gets out of turret aggro, he turns right around onto Inox.
Yeah. Just turn back on Burnout, take a bite out of crime. 3-1 are the kills. A very big ultimate onto Crepo, the one who's been trying to make the plays and get the hooks. They shut down that crowd control and safety utility for the rest of the team. This is going to be the turret. Cutie Pie's on it quite quick. Gets the 4th turret of the game for himself. The one in the bottom was dropped, so we'll give him that one too. All 5 for Cutie.
Kiwi goes down, but he got his ult off. He got the full combo.
Yep.
That's worth it for them. That's a risk you take when you play Zyra, especially the spell penetration AP.
He's just
Zyra.
trying to rack up that death award.
He did the damage.
Solidifying it. Here's that damage onto the turret. Those few pepper shots that Cutie Pie puts on with the Sheen passive after shooting and then getting the 2 clicks in. Baron still ticking away. A little bit of time left on that for Dignitas. Looks like they have actually just about a minute left, so 4 minutes pretty much on Baron spawn.
Look
at this
so
one more.
Dead right now. There's the pick by Kiwi. The great knockup as well. They secure 2 kills off of it. Yeah, it was a shockwave to make Kiwi pay for it.
Yeah.
But that's just 1 kill. They still lost the turret after as well. So Dignitas still in that very, very commanding lead.
And you can see what Dick does before, during, and after all those wards down on the bottom side of the jungle. How would you lose a fight? You can get everywhere. There's 1 ward placed in the fighting position there for EG. That means Dick cleared some on the way out. Give him that credit. As EG tries to set back up now, Dignitas is not going to be waiting too much longer on this. 5-0-0 Shifter, the man that doesn't die, seems to be keeping himself alive.
Exactly. He's got all of Dignitas kills right now as well. That's definitely the fantasy pick of the year so far. Definitely Shifter.
There's a 32-some KDA. After yesterday's game, it changed a bit.
Yeah, and look how
crazy.
Going with that Zanyas instead, it's because EG have not had time even to buy any magic resist. They've been kept down so much from the early games, just starved out, that the first Negatron cloak just now comes in for Snoopy, and everybody else is still very much prone to that Syndra damage. He doesn't need to go 3rd item Void Staff, which is extremely common. Rush right into that Zanyas to afford him more protection. He probably will not die for this game.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
And Nox giving the team back what they can in little bits, but it looks like he's going to be called down here to the inhibitor. This is going to be a forced fight. Cobelter with that shockwave up, but everything needs to hit, and that's one of them. It goes out of the crowd control. He flashes out of the shockwave. Huge dodge by Cutie Pie. Answers back with a culling. Almost drops Kepo, but he gets a good guy heal from Altec. Very nicely done to save the team, but Dig is pushing strong right now. Looks like they're going to be able to grab a little bit more.
Yeah, a couple flashes out of the shockwave, and it's going to be decimation of the Evil Genius base here. No CC to really worry about, too. That's what EG count on. Oh, no!
That's the Zanyas going out. Crumbs gets in with 500 HP to get a kick onto Crepo. Still being useful, even though he could go down in a single hit. Snoopy running for the base. Zion Spartan so big in this game right now, and he's going to be up with the rest of the damage to take down the inhibitor. They're looking for Nexus turrets at 28 minutes.
Yeah, very, very convincing win here from Dig. Very calm execution.
Strong play from the beginning. Great jungle control from Crumbs coming out. Constant blue buff steals. He safeguards himself. Almost goes down to minions. Yes, he does go down in the end. Altec picks up another kill. It's going to be a 28-minute win for Dig over Evil Geniuses.
Just such a dominating early game there. Strong lanes for Crumbs to work off after the swamp play out. Keeps up plenty of vision. Huge chunks of Evil Genius HP being taken out left and right across the map, affording Dignitas many an objective.
What a game. Shifter getting his roam on this time, getting a bit of help from Crumbs as well. 5 kills for Crumbs, or I'm sorry, 5 kills for Shifter, 4 assists for Crumbs. And I'm sure a lot of those were those two in the buddy system, back and forth, helping each other out. Again, the wards placed were just absurd by Dignitas again. Always littering the map with wards, and that vision, it really is power now. Crumbs is right. It becomes all the power that they need to keep getting victories.
Yeah, you are really going to have to pry a win out of Dignitas' hands if you want one nowadays. It's so hard to pull off a win versus this new team now. A lot of these LCS teams, especially the ones on the bottom, feeling the heat very, very hard. And intimidating team to go up against because they're laughing while they do it.
Yeah. They even put up a good fight on Shifter. The level 2-3 roam got his flash forced, but Crumbs answered immediately, and they made sure to blow Pobelter's flash so Shifter wouldn't be any worse off. He was safe in the lane. Really great play. EG was trying to set things in motion, but Dig seems always to be one step ahead this split.
Yeah, and especially with this team coming out, they're afforded the strong early game. They get the lane swap as well, so they just did perfect strategy there, continuing with bottom lane control and easily snowballing that one into the victory.
They quickly went from kind of threat to threat. They said, all right, you know, with Pobelter's flash down, Shifter feels good. Let's go after Inox. And they went after Inox a lot. You mentioned just using ultimates to get him out of lane. They made sure that Inox couldn't carry because he also has been a factor for Evil Geniuses.
And that was the main thing for Dig to worry about. They were like, okay, you guys got the Jax pick. They gave up the Jax pick to him. They were fine with rolling this game plan where they focus a lot of their early game pressure up top. That's what they did. They kept him down, and Crumbs was able to even chunk out Snoopy a lot in the process. So they got 2 for 1. Playing off a strong top lane gives them a jungle advantage as well.
And we talked a little bit about the advance in Dignitas's way to kind of calculate what they can get out of a damage, out of their push, out of how much power they have. And we saw that a lot at Baron. It looked scary, but they turned off at the right time, and they've turned around to Baron like they usually don't. They got it, and then they just pushed into the base. Usually it's a very chaotic fight for them.
Yeah, great vision control by them, very secure Barons, and this time they didn't have to give up any structures for it.
Very strong play. Cutie Pie at one point across the map, getting himself bottom turret, mid turret, and then top turret. And it all happened consecutively, which then you just think about that situation. That means Dig was rotating kind of off the ball, making sure if Cutie Pie wasn't that lane, Zion went back to bottom. Like you said, got double free farm, and he was loving it. And Cutie Pie was able to free farm and roam across the map, getting all that turret experience and gold.
At no time did Dig feel pressured.
Right.
They were very easy transitions for them because they had such good vision, and Evil Geniuses were scrambling to catch up the whole time.
I don't know who's going to be able to catch these guys. We see sole possession of first place going back and forth, sometimes tied, sometimes not.
LMQ had it for, what was that, 25 minutes? LMQ had first place for 28 minutes, all to themselves. But Dig were right back up there.
All right, well, we're going to send it over to Freak, where he's joined by 2 members of the victorious Dignitas.
Thank you very much, Riv. What's up, guys? Want to welcome Zion, Spartan, and Crumbs to the desk, guys. Victorious once again. So you came into that match facing Evil Geniuses, who just took down Cloud9. You guys just came off of a loss. Was there any intimidation coming in that this team's going to be really fearsome?
We weren't really intimidated, but we realized that they were a team that you wouldn't want to let your guard down against. I mean, you don't want to let your guard down against any team in the LCS. Complexity beat Cloud9 and Curse. Like, all these teams can take games off the better teams, and I think it's really which team shows up more to play, and we tried to play to make the least amount of mistakes possible.
So what goes into it when you say we're trying to play the best possible? Like, how do you psych yourselves up to make sure you're playing properly?
I mean, it's just a lot of constant reminders about the strategy that we want to do, like constant updates. Okay, I'm strong right now. This guy has no flash. It's all about reminding each other about the timing windows that we have when we're strong, when they're strong, when the buffs are coming, objectives, just constant reminders like these, and just really remembering the plan that we have with this specific team comp against theirs and how it's going to play out. So as long as we all have played this game a lot, so if we all just remember, oh yeah, this is how we're supposed to play against this team, and we execute it properly, because we were talking about it the entire game, it should go well, and I think it went pretty well.
So how much of that is like every individual member like feeding information in and someone makes the call, and how much of that is like everyone knows that at 7 minutes we're going to go play for their blue buff?
I mean, on objectives like that, everyone knows. Everyone should know that this is going to happen at this moment, right? You got 2 minutes to prepare. We need wards. We need to be here. You need to chunk someone out. You need to blow some summoners. Make sure that we contest this blue buff. Things like that, right? Dragon's coming up in this time. You need to back off. You need to do your shop. All sorts of things. So big objectives, everyone's in on them. Little tiny things in lane. Honestly, most people are still in on it. So I think that's how a game should be played anyways.
So actually, you talk about little things in lane. Zion, you pretty much crushed Inox once you guys got in the lane. You had a giant minion lead over him. You're bullying him out of the lane. How much of that is obviously you're an amazing player, but like you're like the big Jax guy, right? Like when you think of Jax, you kind of think of you first. For the top laners here, how much of that is like, I know that champion? Like, do you like know the ways in to beat that champion up in lane?
I understand Jax very well, but what happened that game was we just controlled the minion wave better than EG did, and Inox got denied very hard. And I think me and Crumbs work really well together on how we like to play the top lane out, and I feel like Snoopy and Inox kind of have a similar idea where they kind of gank top a little bit, but I don't think they have the kind of setup we do. And when I had the minion wave in the right place, it was really easy to just keep getting farther and farther ahead of them. And Shyvana's just really good at rotating around and taking all that farm. And you saw me at the end of the game. I was like level 16 when the next highest level was 14.
Yeah, you were massive. Would you actually be willing to share like what that top lane plan is, or is that a trade secret?
Can't share everything, otherwise every team would be first place, you know?
That's true.
It's these little secrets that make us
That's what I'm talking about.
That's completely fine. Well, speaking of every team being first place, you guys are actually tying for first right now with LMQ. I know, Crumbs, you're hyper confident all the time. Your eyes are always set on Worlds. Scar yesterday said you guys take every single game at a time, but at the start of the season, were you expecting to be first place 3 weeks in?
Not really. I mean, I'm just expecting us to perform well. I'm more than just the actual result. I'm happy that we're able to perform games that are very clean. Like, even though we had like the game against CLG that was really shaky, like we have some games that are really convincing wins, that the plan is acted out properly. And sure, obviously you can always improve on games, but just knowing that we can play at that level is a testament to how far we'll go.
Okay, well, I want to press you on that CLG game in a little bit, but let's go back to the game we just played. We have a replay. If we can pull that one up here. I believe it's the Baron fight, if I remember properly. So, Dignitas, you guys have done very well with Baron so far this split. Walk me through setting this one up.
Well, right off the bat, me and Zion are just hidden right now, tanking Baron. We're like, okay, we need somebody to help us out. Shifter's just lurking in there. We got 4 pink wards in this area, so they have no idea what's going on. Initially, we had blown a lot of summoners from them, trying to chunk them out so that they can't contest. That was mostly just using our pink wards so that Shifter could hide, and then as soon as they funnel in, Syndra just pops them, and we get a free Baron.
And 4 pink wards, I got to say, that makes it not free. That makes it a 400 gold Baron, just for what it's worth. I mean, I love it. It's a great play. It obviously worked really well for you guys. So let's actually then redirect and talk about that CLG game. We haven't gotten to talk to you since that one. What went wrong from your opinion that made you lose that match?
Honestly, I really felt that game, I'd like to take a lot of the blame for that game because I felt like I really wasn't performing at all. I guess I maybe have psyched myself out for it. My skill shots weren't properly. I wasn't communicating the plan that we should have gone. So I think I basically shut down in that game. Maybe some choking. So
come on, Crow.
Yeah, I mean
it's a team game, man.
It's true. I didn't
lose.
No, man. I really felt like if I had made that difference, we probably would have been able to win, be more decisive. But aside from that, yeah, everyone says, oh, I could have done this in a carry. And it's true, but I mean, you're asking my point of view, and I felt like I had a pretty big impact because obviously the jungler is one of the most important roles early in the game, at least.
Do you think it was more individual play based or shot calling based?
I mean, that basically falls into individual play as well.
Okay.
So everyone.
Okay, so Zion, actually wanted to ask you then about the CLG game. What do you think? Do you think you were perfect? I think you could have.
What Crumb said, like individually, like you can always do something better. A player who's like, I tried my hardest. There's nothing I could do. Like, I'm sorry. Like even in solo queue, players are like, I tried my hardest. It's because of these players. It's like, no, that's like, I feel like that's kind of like the solo queue mentality where it's like you blame it on individual mistakes and things like that. You can always do something better. You can always try harder. And I think a lot of our losses are basically just not having the right plan, not playing it soundly as a team. Because I think we've got a lot of good individual and mechanical skill on this team, and it's just having the right plan and executing it.
I mean, to be fair, you guys are absolutely phenomenal players. That was a great game.
I'd like to touch up on that too. I think a lot of times you may have someone that's like a mechanical god, right? He makes incredible flash plays and all of that, and they say, I couldn't have played better. That's not true because you can always make a better decision, right? You could have been in a better place in a better time, things like that. That's more difficult to assess and improve on, but there is always something to get better at.
Yeah, and so you guys had that Baron versus Hib trade, and I mean, that's got to be pretty difficult, right? Like, what was in your minds at that time?
I mean, it was just indecisiveness, right? Because that was a trade that took like 30 seconds to make. We could have just done the Baron immediately and probably not even lost the inhib.
Yeah.
But since we took so long to decide it, we ended up paying for it. So that's just, you learn from it, right? So you think, okay, what could we have done better? Being more decisive, being in the better place at a better time, right? Do the Baron quicker, come out ahead. So you always learn from losses like that.
Okay, so if you guys can keep putting those learnings together. I want to actually ask you guys about something that's been happening now in this season. When there's lane swaps, there's like a double jungle going on. So I've got the 2 Dignitas junglers here in front of me. How does this play out sort of on the grand scale? It seems like the team as a bottom lane always gets dragon at 330. Like, what are the things you look for when you're playing a 2v0?
Well, there was a time in the 2v0 where everyone would just like be ganking mid over and over again, and everyone just be like, all right, let's dive that mid laner. But that everyone's kind of realized like, okay, that's gonna happen. So all the mid laners like stay back, play safe. That gank doesn't really work that often. So all there's left is to just deny farm, and it's basically about getting the big waves that you can and denying people off waves and starving the top laner as much as possible and trying to farm as much as possible. It's just like you're the top laner, you're fighting for scraps, you're just like trying to get whatever you can, and hopefully you won't be level 1 by like 5 minutes. What do you do then as a top laner when you've obviously been denied at the very beginning? You're a little bit behind the jungler. How do you find your way back in then? Do you find a freeze somewhere?
That TSM game.
Yeah, it's very hard to have the mentality like I'm behind. I need to play as safe as possible. Like our game against TSM, I was down 50 farm in 4 levels, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like Dyrus is like 4 levels on me. He auto attacks me once, I'm dead. So basically, it's just about like having a strong like mental fortitude.
To
just
survive.
like, all right, I'm gonna fight for every last CS I can, and it's gonna make a difference. And my team like hung in there with me, and I was able to catch back up, and we were able to win that game. And when you get those deficits, that's kind of how you play as a top lane. You start behind, and it's learning how to get those little advantages that allow you to become a really good top laner, I feel.
All right, Zion. So one final question then. Last time we had you on this desk, I believe you were hyper confident about every match you're going to play, calling them easy, saying you're going to be #1. Crumbs, have you shaken any of that confidence right now, or are you still like dig #1?
The thing is, I still trust in my teammates, right? I still believe that our teammates, my team is going to be able to perform in each game, and that's why I think that we're just going to come out ahead.
All right, well, we'll see you on your trip to Worlds then, guys. Thank you very much for your time. Congratulations on your win. Congratulations on first place as well, and we'll see you guys next week. But we've got more League action coming up today, continuing with Curse taking to the Rift to battle against Team Solo Mid. We'll be right back after this.
So now it's fine for me. Look at this. Maybe like my left buttocks is like bigger than my right one, and I'm just like sitting crooked.
3 things: communication, deep ward, and having a plan. And if the plan changes, make sure to communicate it well.
This could be a call that not many follow. EG, that's going to be the ultimate coming in onto Inox. He goes down with the spears. 3-1 are the kills. A very big ultimate onto Crepo, the one who's been trying to make the plays and get the hooks.
No CC to really worry about, too. That's what you can count on.
Oh, no! That's the Zanyas going out. Crumbs gets in with 500 HP to get a kick onto Crepo. Still being useful, even though he could go down in a single hit.